Hello friends, welcome to Water Today's YouTube channel. Water Today is planning to bring out a series of knowledge sharing through some videos, and there will be specialists from each field who are all going to share all their knowledge with you, and this is a one-stop solution for you if you want to have a good knowledge. So about me, I'm Balaji Ganesh, and I'm a pump expert, you can call me. I've been in this field for about 25 years now. Have done a lot of things with pumps, and pumps have only been. So today we are going to have a very interesting topic which is of interest to so many people, and everybody wants to know about this, and that is pressure boosting. What is pressure boosting? Why I need to have pressure boosting? And how do I get the right pump for the pressure boosting? All these questions will be answered today, but we will go one by one. And in this session, what you're going to have is you're going to know about the applications, especially, well, let's call it in a residential building, and then probably in another episode we will talk about commercial buildings and industries and so on and so forth. So you will see different applications, and one of them is pressure boosting, and we will be focusing on pressure boosting today. You will also understand like what is needed for me and what do I need to have first if I need to select a pressure booster. First of all, why pressure boosting? Today you have a lot of equipments and fixtures which have come into the market, and they need a little bit of pressure at the tap point, for example, where you will have shower panels or shower cubicles. And if you want to have that 32 jet shower cubicle and you want that to be hitting your body, then you need to have some pressure boosting done. But where all I can use this pressure boosting? Yeah, suppose you have 8 or 9 floors. The top floors normally don't get the pressure if it is on gravity feed. So we will be pressurizing the top 2 or 3 floors, and you will need a pressure booster there. Okay, if I'm having an individual villa, all the more you need to have a pressure boosting if you have a villa, because you're going to have all the fixtures which are going to need some terminal pressure, and you will need pressure boosting. And what happens in a resort? Yes, in a resort you need to have that pressure coming into you, so you need to have a pressure booster. So how do I select a pressure booster, and what are the parameters I need to look into? The first and foremost is, what is my flow requirement and what is my pressure requirement? If you have both this, then you can go ahead and select a pressure booster. But how do I arrive at flow, and how do I arrive at the pressure? Yes, we will see some things about that. And what is this training aimed for? Is for the technical people, for on-site engineers or designers, consultants, and also contractors. You may be in any one of that, but I'm sure this basic fundamental will give you a lot of insight into what is pressure boosting today. So the highlights is, we will also see how we should arrive at the flow. Then we will also see how I should do the head calculations. Then we will see how to select a pump and a pressure boosting system. Pressure booster, when it comes to it, you have a single pump booster or a multi-pump booster. Single pump is predominantly for smaller houses which have about 3 or 4 bathrooms. There you can use a single pump booster. But when this goes to a different league where you have some blocks of flats and 40, 50 flats, probably then you will have a multi-pump booster. So they also call this in a different name, which is called hydro booster. So some people call it as hydro booster because hydro is nothing but water, and you pump water and at a pressure. Predominantly the low pressure, the pump, you put a pressure booster and take it to the next level of pressure required for you. So that is how we do the calculations. So we'll also see how to do the calculations. I'm going to give you some simple rules where you can just do it, but you need to have a lot of experience if you are doing it. For a single pump booster, it's not a big issue. But when you go for commercial buildings and big industries, you really need to have some experience when you're going to calculate this flow on head. The key takeaways for you will be system solutions. It's not only the pump, because we're going to talk about a pressure boosting system. Then what is the best efficiency I can get, and how do I integrate this into my project? So we'll give you a lot of tips on all that also. And when you talk about water pumping, I'll just take a residential villa. What happens is that first thing is that you need to take the water from the sump or the bore to the overhead tank. So there you may be needing a pump to a water transfer pump. Once you take it to the top on the floor, on the top where you have the overhead tank, beside the overhead tank you always use a pressure booster, and then distribute the water to all your washrooms and kitchens and washing machines, or whatever. If you have a dishwasher, you can do all that by using a pressure booster on in the overhead and near the overhead tank. Then when you talk about that, after that it comes to wastewater collection, disposal, and one more that you will have here is hot water, where you need to produce and also distribute it, and you need to pressurize that hot water also, so that when you are in the washroom, you open one tap, the cold water and the hot water both will come at a pressure. So you need to pressurize both this. We will talk about hot water systems later, but in this we'll stick to pressure boosting. And whenever it comes to a customer, end user, or a project manager, or you are the owner of a property and you want to, we need to connect so many dots to a pressure boosting system. The simple and foremost is that the first thing is reliability of the product. You need to have a reliable, very, very reliable product if you for a pressure boosting application. The next one, the most thing is quality and the robustness with which it's going to work. The third one is service friendliness, availability, and also efficiency. So many points is what we need to look at before you go into a pressure booster. Once you have taken all this, now the thing comes like which pump I should buy. Yeah, we will also guide you some things, but you can also get into h2obazaar.com, where you will get a lot of products, and it's even pressure boosting, so many things you will get, and you can also shop around with that, and you will get a quality product. But before that, what is that I need to have? Sometimes what happens is that there is already a flow and head and everything is given. Somebody has done it for you, and you just have to go and buy the pump which will deliver that flow and head. That is the basic, which is the easiest to do. Suppose you have, there is something like sometimes you will have a piping drawing, but you won't have the flow and head. You need to calculate the flow and head. And the advanced system is you don't have anything, but you'll have to work from the scratch. So when you do all this, you might be in any stage, so you can take the help of professionals if you want to calculate the flow and head for your system. Pump sizing is most important, hydraulic calculation is most important, and system design is also most important. System design comes when you go in the higher level of projects. For a small villa, probably you will not have so much. So when we take a domestic use, what happens, it's a single family, and you will have a villa and you will have a terrace, and you will have hot and cold water distribution. You will also have some car wash and also some pressure boosting. In when you go to residential buildings, there also you will have all this applications, but you will also have to handle the wastewater side of it. And commercial buildings, yes, commercial buildings, usually there is a floating population, so you need to calculate it in a different way. Then for industries, more or less it's horizontal piping, and you'll have to do it for the process, or you'll have to do it under pressure for some machining. So anywhere, everywhere in an application you take, you will have pressure boosting in every nook and corner that you go. So what I'll do is, first thing is, yeah, my application now is pressure boosting. The second question I need to get answer is, what is my flow and what is my head? And the third thing what I need to know is, what is the type of pump I'm going to use. You can also do submersible pressure boosting, but that's a different game. But normally it is surface pumps with which you will do pressure boosting. So once I have decided my flow and head, and then I have decided that I'm going to use a surface pump to do the pressure boosting, then I'll look at a pump which is going to be very efficient, robust, and also service friendliness. Then I'm going to have an important factor which I need to decide whether I need to have a fixed speed pump or a pump which will run on variable frequency drive. So both options are available, and today there are very compact pumps which runs on VFD is available. You also have pumps where you can connect it through your mobile and you can switch on, switch off, and also see how many hours it has worked, how much it has pumped. So all this is now available today, and so many manufacturers are there who can give you a complete set of all the systems. And I'm talking about this not for bigger systems, even for a single pump system, you will have a lot. Then you also decide on what is a control panel and what is the level of automation I need to have. So when you put all these things into one basket, you are ready for a pressure boosting system. When people ask what is the difference between plumbing and piping, because both are the same actually, but when it comes to plumbing, the definition is nothing but it needs to be connected to a fixture. And it is connected to a fixture and it's applying water to that, it's called a plumbing. But when you go to the industry where you're taking it for a process, that is called a piping. So this is the basic difference between that. One, we also need to know where this word plumber came from. Plumber is nothing but Greek, where it is meant for lead, and people used to work with lead and they were called plumbers. Today you're not of course using any lead pipes because of various other factors, but it was lead pipes which are used. And people who worked on lead were said they are plumbers. So that's how the plumber is one name which is still we are sticking around with that. So coming back to our topic of first the pressure boosting. Before you do the pressure boosting, you need to know what is the source of my water. The source can be either from a bore well, or it can be from a well, or it will be from a sump where you buy water from outside and fill your sump. And you can do the pressure boosting right from the sump itself, or you can transfer water from the sump to the overhead tank and put a pressure booster on the overhead tank so that you can do it. So it all depends on how you are having the property and how well the water you are equipped with. Then you can decide what kind of pressure boosting you need to have. Storage of water, treatment of water, distribution, any special requirement, most of it is not. But if it is an hospital, probably you will need to take care of this. Then the source of water can be a municipal source, bore well, open well, bought out water, treated effluent water, anything and everything. So first thing is availability of water. Once you are sure that I have water supply, now you can think of a pressure boosting. So just imagine like how do I calculate the flow and head? There are so many methods in which you can calculate your flow, especially the flow. You can, something it's called the People's method. What do they do in People's method is they take 200 liters per person per day. And how many people are going to live in the house? Probably if it is a 4-bedroom house, then for a 2-bedroom house, normally they take 5 people are going to live, which means 5 into 200,000 liters per day. So this is how they calculate it. But now the science is advanced and so many things have come and standards are there where you can refer to the standards and you can do the calculation. Today, thumb rule, they'll say 135 liters per person per day. It ranges anywhere between that. You also need to take into account what are the fixtures that you're going to put into that, especially if it is a villa or something, then you will have a lot of equipment and the liters per day will go up. But what is this 135 liters per day is usually referred to when it is for the EWS, which is called the economically weaker section, then you take 135. So 135, 150, it all depends on what you are going to use. I'm just giving you a rough figure, like anything, it can be between 150 to 200 liters per day per person. But having said that, that is an thumb rule calculation. It is not going to be perfect. So how do we make it more refined? How do I calculate my flow requirement exactly so that I am not suffering? This is where you need to be a little careful. There is something, one phrase which people will use is the peak demand. What is this peak demand? Is simultaneous usage of water at any given point of time. That is your peak demand. and when you have to calculate the peak demand and select the pump according to the peak demand. So how to calculate this peak demand? Simple. You can go with this simple formula: 200 liters per day per person into how many flats are there, into 5 into so many flats. There you get what is that. But it is not going to be right. There is also another one which is called that we use standards. In India, predominantly it's the building code, which gives you a lot of information on pressure boosting, and it also gives you a lot of data on how to calculate, and that is called the fixture method. So one is the people method, which is going to be very what do you call, it's not the right thing. You may end up having a bigger system, but that gives you an idea about what it is. But if you go with fixture method and take all the fixtures into account, get into the business standards and take what is the fixture units, total summation, sum all these fixture units, then you have a graph like you have 1000 fixture units, how many liters per minute or how many liters per second. If you use BS, you will get it in LPS, but if you use building code, you will get it in LPM. It is given straight there. So once I know how many fixtures I have, and there are fixture units, once I put all that fixture units, add all the fixture units and come to a summation, go to the table and find out what is the flow required, and that is the peak flow that you can get. So you can do this by using any of the standards, and you can use building code, which is very relevant in India, and it gives you a lot of information. So if you can do it, you can take it from there, and that will be wonderful, where you are now clear about what will be my peak demand, what will be my flow. The next one, what you do is you need to calculate the pressure. Pressure, usually you need to do is how much is my pipe size, what is the velocity I'm going to have in my pipe size, how many flows I'm going to go. It is a static head, then you have dynamic head, then you have friction loss. So when you put all this together, then you arrive at what is the pressure required. And also you be careful, like if you have some fixture which says that you need a minimum of 1.5 bar or 2 bar pressure at the fixture unit, then you need to add to that total head so that you arrive at the pressure required. So now we have the flow, which is nothing but the peak demand. Then you have the pressure or head, however you calculate it. So once you have both this, now you are ready to jump in and take the right pump for your application. So this is in short pressure boosting. Thank you so much for watching this, and I hope it has been very useful to you, and we will also come back with so many other topics which we will discuss in detail. Thank you, and don't forget to visit h2obazaar.com, put the subscribe button, press the bell icon to make it gray, and also we are coming out, Water Today Expo is coming up very shortly, and please visit that stalls so that you will have more information about different products, different things, and you might be in one business or the other, but now since you know pressure boosting, you can always look at business opportunities in this, and this is one growing market because everybody today needs a pressure booster, because everybody wants a rain shower, everybody wants a dishwasher, and they need to have a pressure booster. So maybe you can look at business opportunities, and you can also visit Water Expo to learn more about it. Thank you. See you again.